I love how real Helen and Bob's relationship was in The Incredibles. Because when we were kids watching it, I didn't catch everything, right? But now that I'm an adult, okay, and we've been through some of this stuff, I'm like, dang, this was a real portrayal of like a real relationship. Because when I was growing up, I didn't really understand that Bob was the reason that they made like supers illegal. Like, if you go back and watch, there was 2 instances with Bob, right, that they were like, the first one was like, okay, you're causing way too much damage to the city every time that you save people, right, and that is costing us money, okay, that's our tax dollars, and you ain't paying it back, right, and he's just like, well, I saved them, and they're like, yeah, but look at our town. And then the second one was when somebody was trying to off themselves and he saved them, and he suffered injuries. The person suffered injuries because, he's strong. He saved them. And he was like, look, I wasn't trying to get saved anyway. Okay, stuff is too expensive. You keep tearing up the city. I'm paying with my tax dollars. I don't like my job. I just got divorced. Like, I wasn't trying to get saved. And he was just like, well, I'm a superhero and you was trying to take yourself out. And he was like, so now I got to deal with all this stuff, right? I don't like life anyway. And then now I'm alive, but now I can barely walk. Absolutely not. I'm suing you. So those were like the 2 big instances, like that was the catalyst of like why supers went illegal in the first place. So I didn't understand that. So like watching the movie, you can really see all this is weighing on Bob, okay? Not only like was his ego bruised, right? But he's the reason, okay? And then later on when you see that all the other supers were getting killed, again, he was the catalyst to why all of this was happening, especially because, again, remember that boy that was his biggest fan, and he was like, go home, buddy, I fly alone. He was killing people. He was killing all those supers, and it was his fault. So I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really realize the guilt that this man was holding on to the whole entire movie, on top of him just kind of being selfish, right? Because not only was he holding on to that guilt, okay, now supers are illegal, so now he had to go work a regular job, okay, and he's just like, I'm way too big for all this, okay, I'm in this small ass cubicle, got this small ass boss telling me what to do, I'm in this small ass insurance company acting like they helping people and they really not helping people, I'm in this small ass car. It was too much. Like, this was literally the perfect imagery to show that his lifestyle now, this normal lifestyle for him was suffocating, right? Because remember, he's Mr. Incredible, like not just any super. He has super strength. So for men in a patriarchal society, for men, that is the like superhero, to be able to protect, be a protector, right? Men are always looked at as for like, what they can do, what they can provide. They are looked at as the protector. So to have super strength, he's like that guy. But, and I really like the fact that they show this, because sometimes a lot of the times, the stuff that props men up and allows them to, have privilege is also that same thing that can hurt them as well. So this super strength that he's given, right? The things that people looked up to him the most for is also his downfall. And we see that all the time with hegemonic masculinity, right? So again, he's living this suffocating lifestyle. He literally cannot do it. So of course his ego is hurt. His ego is bruised. It's been like 15 years. And now he's, in this regular lifestyle, which is nothing wrong with that. But for him, he couldn't do it. And of course, like when you go from a world where you could just be yourself and, save people, this, that, and the third, like going to this, yeah. But he was taking it really hard. Again, you gotta look at it. This is a white, I'll say before when they were supers, they probably was, you never know. I think he was upper class, because you gotta remember his car. That was a nice ass car. So I would say they were upper class, but now they went to like middle class white folk. A middle class white man being told what he cannot do? Absolutely not. He was not having it. And this is another big reason why him and Helen were always bumping heads. So I really like that they were showing, like, okay, you have Helen, right? I love they show Helen, like, she was like, she was like a badass, independent, this, that, and the third. Okay, yeah, they end up falling in love, getting married, whatever the case is. But now she has adjusted into this role of being a mother, right? And being in a more domestic environment where she takes care of the home front, he takes care of the bills, whatever the case is, right? But she knows, okay? She knows he cannot let it go, right? He cannot let it go, because he keeps on encouraging for Dash to, use his powers, this, that, and the third. She's trying to protect them because she doesn't want them to go to jail or anything like that. She's trying to protect her children and teach them, okay, let's go ahead and follow these laws, because your father, and I don't even know if they had that conversation with the children, your father was the main reason why we illegal in the first place, okay? And you have to understand, with that being said, and for Bob to be acting the way he is, there has to be animosity there. She has to be like, but she never threw it in his face necessarily. She never said, you're the reason why this is all happening in the first place. You need to be the main one following the rules. She never really said that, right? But she will advocate, okay, for them. She will hold her ground, which I love. Because at the end of the day, right, we don't need anything happening to our kids, because at the end of the day, they come first. I don't care what you got going on and your ego being bruised, because yeah, we remember what happened 15 years ago. We have to get adjusted to this new lifestyle, and it doesn't matter what you think is right. We got to go ahead and we got to protect them and teach them right. This part, even though I know they wouldn't be able to relate in that way, but this part kind of reminds me of, like, the conversations that I've even had with my parents of, like, when black people have to learn how to react and deal with the police, right? If you're not black, you probably don't understand it to the level of other black people of these type of conversations, because you might have one parent that's just like, well, the police need to be following the law, and then the other parent be like, well, we need to get our kid home safe, so even though they may not be following the law, we have to do this, that, and the third just to remain safe, right? Even the kids might be like, well, hey, but they're not following the law, so I should be able to speak up, I should be able to do this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, we got to make sure that you are safe. So this reminded me of that, because that's how I can relate to it. But it's like, they're bumping heads, and that is so real, especially for them to have Dash as a son, because again, it shows, like, you're the father, right? You learn from your environment. Like I always say, everything is a part of our socialization as people and as a society. So for Dash to be seeing his dad's point of view and his mindset and his ideologies towards supers and using your superpower, this, that, and the third, and for him to be the only boy and the man, well, other than Jack, but he's a baby at the time, but he's looking to his father. So whatever his father is going to be saying, he's going to do, right? Really what his father does, because they do what you do, not what as you say, right? So even though his mom is going hard for it, she needs the father to co-sign, because he's looking to you as a young man. He's looking to you as a grown man. So that's why it was hard. She was like, I need you to engage. I need you to be here. I need you to be involved. But because Bob he was depressed. He felt like he was suffocating. He's, guilty. And he just feels like, again, with masculinity and men, they're looked at for what they can do and what they can provide, right? And that is sad, because we don't really look at men and teach them that they're more than that, sadly. But they are taught that way and they are socialized that way. So as soon as he's no longer to use his super strength, right, he probably feels worthless. He probably feels weak. He probably feels like nothing, okay? And so he's so stuck in that he cannot see that he is not engaging with his family. He's not really being that active of a father. We saw that at the dinner table, right? When she's like, Bob, I need you to engage. And he's just so like, oh, okay, I'll just lift the table up, right? I'm going to just use my super strength, because I'm not really used to being involved. That's why I really love especially the second movie, when he has to be involved and he sees that how hard it is, right? But even when he got his new job, when he's sneaking around knowing he's wrong, got his new job, now he want to be all involved. Now, and really, no, he wasn't as involved, but their love life got better. He started playing with the kids more, this, that, and the third. So he was really involved. The second movie, he was even more involved. But I'm like, you're wrong. And this is why they be saying dating guys with no money, right, or who aren't happy with their financial situation is horrible, because they'll treat you horribly. And that's not always the truth with everybody, but Bob was a good example of that. Just completely low, drained, but as soon as he got what he wanted, right, whether it was, with his career, finances, whatever, he started dressing better, he started working out, again, their love life got better, showing her more love, dealing with the kids more, just better. When it's like, boy, you should have been doing that in the whole damn time, okay? And also he felt good because he was, talking to this attractive woman. What was her name? I forgot their name. The lady with the gray hair, real skinny. He was getting attention from another woman. Even though it was business, she was flirting with him the whole time, and he felt good. That made him feel good. Even though he has a wife and kids at home, he likes, that makes him feel good and wanted, and he hasn't felt that in a long time, right? But again, because he was so caught up in his mess, right? He was turning a blind eye to his wife and his kids for a very long time. I'm like, oh, this is real. Let's talk about Helen in part 2. Now let's talk about Helen. Because I always loved how they introduced Helen when she was just like, leave all the fighting to the men? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I love how they show the versatility of how, especially in the second movie, right? But I love how they show like her transition into the domestic lifestyle, right? When she's taking care of like the home front, the cooking, the cleaning, the kids, and how her personality, right, was still there. How she advocated for herself every single time. How she never stepped down. Because when they was going at it, they was going at it, okay? And even in this picture it show, I wear the band's hair, okay? That's what we finna do. All right, this is not about you. She was not playing. All right, but I love too to like when she thought he was cheating, how they show, look, even though she can be like a badass and independent and this, that, and the third, and advocate for herself and strong willed, strong minded, and have a voice, she still showed her vulnerable. They still show a woman because we all have different layers, right? Just because you could be, tough in one area doesn't mean that you do not care about stuff. Okay, this is her husband. 15 years? Okay, they got 3 children together. This her man, right? And when she thought he was cheating, she was just like, oh my gosh. She was just like, I love you, please. Because we all remember he started working out. Okay, let's be real. He know he was dead wrong for not telling her about anything that whole time. He was, he started working out. He started actually, loving her better. So stuff was going down the bedroom. We saw that. We saw, they was, touching each other's booty, doing this, doing that, kissing more. So she like, okay, hold on. What's going on? Like, why you start acting all like this now? What's going on? Then, okay, got that call from that lady, and all she heard was, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. Da, da, da. Huh? Oh my God. So I love that they showed that she was like, I love you so much. Okay? And he was like, I love you too. And then kiss her goodbye. Like, bro, you lying to me this whole time. You lying. Because we cannot lie that he was flattered by that one lady. Let's be real. He was getting some type of attention. He was, being able to have different conversations. She was flirting with him. Let's be real. She was being very flirtatious. And he liked that. He liked the attention. No, he didn't sleep with her or anything like that. But the point of the matter is that it's still a form of cheating because, let's be real, you're not telling your wife about this woman. He didn't tell her about anything, actually. So you dead wrong for doing that. But let's be real. You're not telling your wife that you're meeting up with this woman, doing this, doing that, having dinner, doing this, doing that. Don't piss me off. Okay? But I like that she was like, you know what? I'm going to go get my man. She said, I'm going to go get my man, honey. Okay, Edna went ahead and she, remember when she went to Edna's house, she was crying. She was like, I let this happen, blaming herself, okay? So let's not do that. So I'm glad Edna got her together because she was like, pull yourself together, honey. Do you remember who you are? She was like, fight. Now, mind you, how I feel, if somebody could take your man, he was never yours to begin with. Okay, you could take him. I don't want him. Okay, but I understand when it's 15 years of being together. You guys got 3 kids. It's different. It's not like a boyfriend. It is different. But still, a part of me is still like, I'm gonna be hurting. I'll be hurting. Yes. But when Edna was talking about, she was like, fight and win. And I was like, I ain't fighting for no person that done left me. Hello? But anyway, I'm gonna be fighting. No, I'm just playing. Y'all let your presence be the present, okay? But point of the matter is, okay, I just liked how they show all the different sides. Because she was just like, and remember Violet was like, okay, is Dad in trouble or is he the trouble? She was like, he either in trouble, okay, or he gonna be, okay? Because either way. But I just love that they showed, like, it wasn't that Helen didn't want to be a super anymore. It was just the fact that she's trying to follow the law. And she has to, what Bob doesn't understand is, how does that make her feel that she's married to the person that caused supers to be illegal in the first place? Like, you don't think that makes her feel stupid in some type of way? But that's her man. You're her man, so she gonna stay beside you. But you be thinking everything about you, Bob. It's not always about you. Now we got kids. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to throw that in your face, but fine. We got to transition into these new roles of mother and father and as normal people. It just is what it is. And it's like, but you see with her, she was able to use her, her powers in the everyday life when it came to like, you know, just certain stuff like, okay, when Violet and Dash were like, you know, hitting each other and doing this, doing that, right? They could still use it in that domestic environment, but they're, you know, she's trying to refrain from using it in person because, again, she doesn't want nothing crazy to happen. And she was right in the sense of they didn't even know that one dude, I forgot what his name was, but the one guy who was killing all the supers, that he was even killing all the supers. So she was right on the fact that we have to stay low key. But I feel like there needs to be a healthy balance because it's like, yeah, the police ain't doing much. So supers, they kind of do need supers. I get it. I do get it. There needs to be a healthy balance. But I just love to see that they were showing these real topics and these real issues that people deal with on the daily, straight up. And how a lot of times, like women, we have to balance everything, right? So Helen was balancing everything, and all Bob had to do was go to work. And he could barely do that, honey. He could barely do that. All he had to do was go to work. That's why I really love that in the second movie, when Helen was in the forefront and she was getting everything done, wasn't no damage to the city, this, that, and the third, okay? But when he had to go ahead and take care of those kids and cook and clean and do all this, he was like, damn, this is a lot. This is a lot. And she make it look easy. Oh, okay. So I don't know. I just love the fact that their relationship was like a real relationship. Because when I watch it now, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is real right here. This is real. But yeah, I'm just like, what y'all think? What y'all think about their relationship? How it make you feel if you rewatched as an adult?